We have some Q&A to do. I hope you're doing fine, 'cause it's Q&A time again. Hello, world. How's it going? Hope you guys are all doing great. If not, as always, I hope it gets better for you. So welcome to another Friday Night Live Q&A. With me, your host, LRB, and just want to say hi real quick. I'm going to flip you guys right back over because these are some cool shrimp. I actually didn't even realize I had purple and blue realies going on in this fish tank, so that's pretty cool. Here, let me zoom in a little bit. That definitely looks like a pair there, a male and a female. I need to get those guys separated. They're not the only ones. Looks like there's quite a few in there. Then you just see the normal red and blue. But that's pretty neat. Definitely need to call those out. Besides that, it's throwing some... Oh, that guy's weird. Look at him. He's got like a red nose, but he's like blue velvet with the black spot. That is wild looking. But yes, this is a Friday Night Live Q&A where you can ask the community and I questions on keeping fish, shrimp, and plants in freshwater aquariums. I've been doing this for a long time, these Friday Night Live Q&As. Really got to work on that lighting though over here. Look at that, it just looks like nothing, like a void. Wow. Intense. Intense. Usually on the iPhone you can like manipulate it so you can get the lighting better, but it is what it is. Our professional lighter here. No, I do have learned a lot about lights on just lighting period, just through aquariums. It's amazing when you go down the plant rabbit hole of aquariums, all the lighting information you can learn between the lumens, the par value, the color, the Kelvin scale, what it does, what it doesn't do. Like your blues more for the vegetative, your reds are for the fruiting stage, which can play a big role into how your plants actually grow within your aquariums and why they can grow different in different situations as well. Something to think about. But hello to all you awesome people. I see many hellos. Glad to see you all in here. Many awesome people. I'm gonna have to flip this thing around. First question, was the Mr. Placo hoodie yours or just wardrobe? So that is actually my hoodie. I got that off of like a Instagram thing or something. It was a random hoodie, but yeah, absolutely love that hoodie. Mr. Placo, where the funk you at? Funky Placo cat. LRB, where will you be next? It's been too long, says Gone Mad. So, South Bend, Indiana, this week is the Killifish Carnival. We've actually been getting prepped for it. You can see I've got containers full of plants back there. Bags getting all ready for that. We're planning on bringing some goodies for some people. And hopefully I come back with a lot of killifish and I can share them with you guys. Because we need to get killifish out there. More and more of these killifish. A lot of these hardcore breeders are getting up in the age. And we just need more and more people breeding killifish. Because it is kind of a... it's a love of it. Because it takes a bit to breed them out. And many of these killifish are losing where they live. So it's really important that we get killifish out. So I always try to focus on that and make sure I always do this event. The Fishy Mailman says, Lucas, you did get into live chat this week, right? Thank you, Fishy Mailman, for reminding me, playing Candy's role. And now I am in live chat. But yeah, South Bend, Indiana, Killifish Carnival this weekend. Patrick Hardy, great to see you too, bro. Scrolling. Adil says, should I remove molts or leave them in the tank? Definitely leave them in the tank. It adds a source of calcium for the shrimp. Man, I'm gonna see if I can't sit further back. I don't know why that lighting is so terrible on this sensor. It's bugging me. But no, definitely leave the shrimp molts in there because they can eat off of them and gain some calcium out of them too. So leave them in. Garrett Brune, is there such a thing as too heavily planted tank for endlers? No. I mean, well, that's not true. Actually, yes. What'll happen is once a tank gets way too heavily planted, it just grows out of all of its control. It can smush up all the area to where the endlers and guppies don't have anywhere to swim, and that can be very problematic for your fish. And they can actually get caught up in the algae, because often when that happens as well, the plant will eat within itself, and then algae will consume off the organics, and your fish can actually get stuck in that algae as well. So something to be mindful about and careful about. Wow, from South Korea, that is awesome. Great to see you in here, Korean Cardboard. Says, thanks for sharing all your valuable information and reaching around the world. That is awesome. Ephraim 422 says, when feeding live baby brine shrimp, does the salt have much effect on the plants? How would I wash the shrimp if I didn't want to add the salt water? Thank you. So they do make sieves where you can sieve out the salt and rinse the brine shrimp. But, I mean, as long as you're not putting a lot of the water that you get from the brine, you should be alright. Another thing you can do is, here, let me grab one of these containers. This is what I like to do when I bring in any fish, anything, exchanging anything, whether it be worms, plants, Daphne, whatever. If you don't want to mix up the other water and worry about contaminants, take whatever you want, whether it be a fish, plant, your brine shrimp, put it into a container like this, and then either get your aquarium water where you can run it through and dilute that other water out. So in with the good, out with the bad. And I luckily have a carbon block to my house, so I could just run bass for my fish, just run them through in clean water. That way it's just purely clean, and then when I add them to the tank, I don't have to worry about things mixing. And ever since I've done that, my quarantine success has been absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. It was a game changer for me. Absolute game changer. Because I think most of that stuff comes within our water, or the water that you get your fish from. And then it gets into your water, and that water, say you've got a nice new clean tank, there's not a whole lot of other bacterias or other things they've got to fight for. So it's just free reign for them. But if you wash all that down the sink, then you'll be gold. It really does help. I was looking to purchase some of your black Moscow guppies. I see that you sell them in pairs. Is it possible to order a trio? Thank you. You would have to email Lady LRB for a trio. What we do usually for that is we'll just split the cost of the pair, so half and half, you know. We just add that to the tip jar, and we take care of you. But you gotta let us know, that way we can get it listed properly. We go through about 50 orders a week, and between Sarah and I, it's a lot of work, and we appreciate all the support. Like, it's what keeps us running, because I mean, it's not easy to keep all this going, especially as it ages through lights going out and stuff like that, and needing different systems, which that's what I've been spending a lot of time on. I did not get you guys any videos this last week. I'm really trying to grind out this project where it's going to help me pull the water out of the fish tanks a lot faster, which is like high priority right now, as far as just wanting to get the whole fish room to where I need to get it to. LRB Aquatics says, do you have any native fish? So I don't have any native fish in the fish room. No, I don't. And I will end up having native fish in my pond out back, though. I've been noticing a lot more videos on native fish. They've been pretty interesting. Steve Heller says, hey Lucas, I bought your Placos rainbow fish around a year ago and have around 100 juveniles. My question are they a Gary Lang strain? Just curious. LRB strain will be just as marketable. No, they're definitely my strain. I've had Gary's strain. I love Gary. He's my boy. He's the Rainbow King. But there's one rainbow I don't think anybody can touch me on, and that's the dwarf rainbow Placos, because I've been breeding those things for so long. The color and genetics in them is just phenomenal, and they've been bred for that. Gary's are more bred towards the natural coloration. I breed them more towards the brightness of the blue. So they are bred differently. Bruce Wayne says, hello, I know nothing about keeping fish. I'd like to have a simple tank soon. Any playlist recommend or information on starting? So definitely hit up my tips and tricks playlist. That'll help you out from the get-go. Being here is a huge help as well. I mean, this is why I do this Friday night Q&A, is for people, I mean, like you, because many come at different levels into this hobby, and we all have to start somewhere, or we may be trying to grab information from here or there. These kind of Q&As are absolutely helpful for all that, because we go through a lot of repeat questions through these quick Q&As, but there are great tidbits that you'll pick up here and there, and you'll start to get more of the gist and the flow of the consensus of the community. That really helps solidify things in your brain, because often when it comes to aquarium keeping, we will play more games in our brain than what needs to really be done with Mother Nature and what she normally does. So really put your faith into Mother Nature. Think about the fish that you're getting. Don't just jump into the fish, but think about the fish that you're wanting or getting, or if you don't know, go browse around, then think about that fish, then set up its environment. Once you do that, your success rate will go like out the roof. And then the next big step is to make sure that you don't add the water from the place that you get it from. Make sure that that fish is in clean water, then put them in your tank. And that'll help you out a ton. And sorry if I'm missing anybody's questions here. It's hard for me to capture them all. New killies yet? No, that won't be until next week. And it'll probably be a couple weeks till I really mention them, because I'll have to process them all. And that's a lot of work, especially through my normal flow of work. But hopefully that helps you. And yeah, always feel free to ask questions, because if I can't answer it, somebody here in the community will answer it. The great thing about our community as well is that we have absolutely phenomenal people here that are just very mindful and willing to help. And it's not like some communities where you can have some sour sides, like car communities and stuff. For instance, most of them are very helpful towards each other, but it is kind of an ego kind of thing, which this is more of a zen kind of hobby. Farm Fish and Freedom says, yo Lucas, if a female rice fish is carrying eggs, does that mean they are fertile? Yeah, I believe so. I'm not going to say 100% sure, but I could say 99.9% sure, because that 0.1% is all that really matters. So, yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but 99.9%. Robert Johnson says, I'm setting up a 210, all for corners, make good contact. Can I shim between the plywood and 2x4 to fill a 1/6 gap around the edges? I would probably use a composite if I did shim it. Definitely use a composite. But you should be able to, yeah. I mean, that's what I do with mine. Let's see. Tony Danford says, do you have a... What? I don't even know what that is. Chendongo Salawazi for sale, or know anyone who would sell and ship? I have no idea. I don't even know what that is. Is that a cichlid of some sort? Takari Endo says, hi, much love from Malaysia. My shrimp are slowly starting to disappear, and the ones I have, not very active. Any suggestions? Want them to breed. So I'm not sure what kind of situation you have them in, how old your environment is. Picture's worth 1,000 words when it comes to tanks. And often with my customers, if they ever have issues, we always ask for a picture of the tank, just because you could read so much just from that. But the best thing is have a more natural environment for them. If you do see them disappearing, I don't know, there may be bacterial infections in there. Ways to fight that is I would use a Indian almond leaf. It's a natural way to fight off those bacterias. And if not, it will feed them as well. So sometimes it is lack of food. They can eat each other. They will go cannibal if they're not getting enough food. And maybe the water's too clean. And I guess they don't mind depth too much, but I prefer to keep them in shallower waters. Even though they do good in a 40-gallon breeder. I'm not sure how they are with depths and the pressure. So I'm not sure your situation or how you're keeping them, but yeah, just try to keep it more organic, not too clean. As far as like too sterile water, that's what I say, or too sterile of an environment. Cody's Aquatics says, LRB, I have angelfish eggs in a jar with methylene blue. How often should I change the water, or if I should change the water? I don't know. I don't ever use methylene blue. I am not a fan of methylene blue. Like I said, I just let Mother Nature do her thing. Speaking of which, man, my pictas have exploded hundreds of fries. Or fry in a 40-gallon over here. I was going to use that as a thumbnail, but then I saw those purple really shrimp, and I had to hit those up. See, man, I'm so glad Friday's about here. Doing all this extra work with the killifish carnival, it's not as easy to do. I can't wait till I get this water change system done. Natural LRB, sell mulm. I do sell mulm. This is about as natural as you get. Talk about getting your tank seasoned well. That's like your salt and pepper for a tank. Just spices up the life of it. MadCat61207, thank you so much for the dollar super chat. I appreciate that, MadCat. How's the pond outside going? So I'm digging my deck from out of the dirt that they buried my deck with right now. But besides that, I mean, it's still running good. I've got to change a lot of things up. It's put on the back burner because I got to prioritize this water change system project, as well as my other projects that had to been put on the back burner. Ask Kirkpatrick says, question, is good to change the female endlers or males every once in a while, or to keep them a healthy strain? So if you really want to do it properly, is you pick your best and you work off them, and what you really should do is picking two best and running two colonies. That way later down the road you can mix the genetics of the two colonies of the two best back onto each other, and then you can just perpetuate that genetic fineness for the best quality of traits. Soko Moko S says, do you have any subwasser tank for sale? I don't, because there's just, for some reason, I constantly get hair algae, just tiny little bit of hair algae that likes to weave its way into my subwasser tank. So usually it's unsellable. Like I've got some beautiful subwasser tank, but it's just got that little bit of hair algae, so I haven't offered it. I am working on growing more subwasser tank though. It's just subwasser tank absolutely loves water changes because of the reoxygenation of the water. And also it helps keep the debris off the leaves, which the algae will eat off of, and that's what causes the algae on the subwasser tank. And since I haven't been able to keep up with that as well, that is why I'm dealing with the algae issues, and why it's high priority to get this water change system done, since I had to replace the Dragon 3000. Will Cooper says, LRB, you mentioned you're going to keep crystal shrimp this summer. Will you use a filter on your tank? Thank you. So no, more than likely I will keep it filterless. I mean, I have thought about adding airlines into my fish room. It's just, I don't want to do it until it can absolutely be done properly in a whole different manner. Because the current systems of what we use isn't quite functionable. I think we could do better for sure. But I need to teach myself some 3D printing skills and stuff like that. Try to teach an old dog new tricks. Good thing is I like to self-learn, so it should be alright. Hopefully I'll live. Scroll. Once again, sorry if I'm missing your guys' questions, because this chat is all over. I don't even know how far I am from the bottom of it. Against the Flow says, I want to order some Neos from you, but I'm afraid my water will kill them. I have low KH and GH TDS from tab 35. What do you recommend I do to keep them? So yeah, it would be really hard to breed any Neos out in a 35 TDS. What you can do is get a GH booster. I buy it from Nilo CG, which is let me see here. So it looks like this, and you can just add that into your tank. It adds that calcium, and since you have that soft acidic water, it'll break down this, and this goes into your water column, which adds the calcium. And less water changes you do, the better off you'll be, because then you won't have to keep replacing it. So you can keep neocaridinias as long as you raise it with something like that. And this is just crushed up powdered calcium. Here, I'll show you what it looks like. Well, maybe. Oh yeah. It's kind of clumpy in here because it's been sitting for so long. But best thing to do is break it up in the bag too before you open it up. Try to break up the calcium in there, that way it ain't so clumpy. But yeah, you just add that in there. The acidic water breaks it down, and bada bing, bada boom. Your plants love it, your shrimp love it, your fish love it. You're actually sitting in a really good situation with your water as long as you're using something like that. You can keep anything and keep it really well too, because bacteria, funguses, parasites, all that stuff, they don't do as well in softer water either. So you can manipulate that to your benefit sometimes. And yeah, you can manipulate the water to how hard you want to keep it. And also keep in mind, each water change you do will just switch it up. So just stick up to that, and make sure you got a TDS meter and keep an eye on it every once in a while, because your plants can absorb a lot of that calcium as well throughout the ages. If you say go 6 months without a water change, which you can do. I mean, a lot of these tanks in this fish room have gone a long time with just top offs. Maple Street Aquatics says, are you going to have a swap table tomorrow? So I will have a swap table. I may have to bring another one because all these bags, I've got a lot of plants to get rid of. And whoever's going is about to like hook it up. Like I'm gonna have big bags. I've got the big bags out to move some of those Brazilian pennywort and some other things. Some of my bigger cribs, some of my Balinese. I've got a lot that I've got to switch out here in the fish room that I want to kind of redo. Backyard Bear says, my MTS is out of control. Somebody stop me. Nobody stop him. Let him be. Embrace it, Backyard Bear. Embrace it. You'll love it. You gotta enjoy life. YOLO. You only live once, brother. James Green says, did you view Chris the Mad Aquarius Biggs video on illegal trafficking of Brazilian killifish? Any comments on the topic? I have not. I think I saw a thumbnail for that, but I don't think I actually watched it. It was one of those ones that I was wanting to watch, but it like went to the wayside because my life is a constant distraction, full of distractions. Dan and Ken Aquatics, thank you so much for the $5 super chat, brother and sis. Danny and Ken, thank you, thank you, thank you. Says, happy Friday, brother. Peace. Well, always great to see you in here. And thank you, thank you, thank you. The support is much appreciated. MadCat61207, have you ever read A Fish Out of Water? Have you ever read A Fish Out of Water? Is that a book? I don't think so. I may have vaguely heard of it. Very common saying, though, so I could easily have that mixed up. Simply Aquatics, hey, is there any way to personally apply message you, apply message you, or something? I'm guessing that was a typo, but is there any way to personally message you? It's really hard to personally message me, and those who actually do have my number or even know me know I'm like terrible at responding with messages because I could spend my whole life just answering messages the way that they come in. Like, I don't see how these bigger channels do it. It's insane. It is insane. All the messages and stuff. And just, I'm not big on the phone and getting into all that because I'd rather be playing in my aquariums or doing other things with my hands, so. I wish I had more time for it. I try to do what I can in the comments. And I'll grind them out whenever I get time here and there. But it's really hard to get personal messages. There's one of the great things why I left Facebook to YouTube, because YouTube or Facebook actually thought I was a bot because I had to deal with so many messages. They thought I was a spamming bot and they banned me, and that's actually why I ended up on YouTube years ago. Cody's Aquatics says, LRB, I have a 40-gallon full of moss wood cherry shrimp that's been running for about 4 years. It's a good idea to add new blood to the tank. Honestly, I wouldn't. Not unless you've actually been genetically working on your own, because you never know what they're genetically going to be holding. Also, I don't know what your lineage is like too, so I really don't. Like, my shrimp have been colonized for a long time now, and they just get super, super, super duper red and colorful. The whole inbreeding thing, I don't even think that works with shrimp. Because what I've seen, my results, I mean, come on. These, let me flip you over here. I don't know how, well, let's see, they're so blue, you can't even see how blue they are. These guys have been breeding together forever. I've never added any new blood to them. I mean, at least 2-3 years. And they just get more blue, more blue, more blue. And I've been taking out like the different colors here and there. What I'll do to work out a colony is I'll just pick out the ones that I don't want within that, which don't look best, and I'll go from there. Then it eventually works its way through. I wish this had better video. And here's where I'd throw some of the calls. This is where I was throwing like the blue and red really calls, and then I just started throwing all kinds of whatever calls I'd find from here into there. Because I think one of these got in there at one point, was starting to mix in with these, but I've got that all called out and worked out. And then they ended up here, and then I've got some crazy stuff coming out of these shrimp. Crazy, crazy things. I really need to get working on these though. These are the black rose. And if any of you guys seen my like clumps of yellow shrimp and red shrimp and the coloration on them, it's just insane. And I mean, I've done judging for international competitions too, so I know all the criteria, which also helps. And it's really most uniformity and coloration when it comes to those shrimp, and size. Okay, Simply Aquatics says, hey man, I think I live near you. Was wondering if there was any way I could stop by and check out the room. Nah, unfortunately I don't really open up to the public just because it is my personal house and my family. Just, it's hard on my schedule to do it. Zachary Walker says, how would you move a 55 3-year-old dirted planted tank down some stairs and across town? Thanks, brother. You want to know the real way I would probably do it, or the way that I should tell you to do it? Because honestly, I would probably keep the dirt in there. I would probably keep the plants in there still, and find somebody who's got some muscles and help me move it over. It'll be heavy, but it would keep the dirt in there. But you don't have to do that. You really risk stressing out the tank. I've done it before, where I've kept like the wide paper towel over the plants, kept the substrate in there, and then you got to be real careful not to slosh it around, because if you slosh it around, it's over with. But if you want to do it the easy way, and the way I should tell you how to do it, then I would say go ahead and just break it all down. Put the plants in one bucket, put the substrate in however many. You're probably going to need 2 or 3 buckets for that substrate, depending on depth. And also keep some of that molmy water, that nice dirty molmy water that's all brown and out the bottom. Keep some of that. Don't rinse that out. Keep that in a bucket. That way when you move it over, the tank will be light. 55-gallon won't be as stressful. And I mean, you're gonna have to lug buckets, so you got to carry the weight one way or the other. It just depends on how much of a man you are. And yeah, it would be probably easier just to empty the substrate out in the buckets for sure. Carry those over, then replant it, put that substrate back in. You've got yourself an instantly cycled tank. So you won't have to go through the whole recycle thing. Marcel Wooderich. Rings a bell. I think that's where I got my upper tour rainbow fish. Yes, Fishy Mailman. Yeah. It says might get some rainbows from him. Yes, definitely. He's worth getting rainbows from. That's where I got my upper tours, which is one of my favorite all-time rainbow fish. Is there a fish on your wish list that you're looking for but can't find, sir? Not really. My biggest problem is there's lots of fish that I would like to keep, but not enough tank space, believe it or not. Even with these hundreds of aquariums, I still do not nearly have enough space for my hoarding addiction. One day I hope to fix that. We're working on that, and with your guys' support, hopefully we can continue to just climb that ladder and try to get to that next level. Eric Ash says, what are the signs that thread rainbow fish are trying to breed, and what should I do for them if so? So you'll see like the flaring between the rainbow fish together, and then they'll end up going to like either a plant or a space that they'll kind of wiggle around together, and they'll throw eggs on top of it, and you'll see them being playful. You'll see a lot of behavior. Rainbow fish are super social fish, and you see it within their behavior. So if you're really looking, you'll know it when you see it. And I
kind of went backwards on questions there. Soko Moko S says, do you have any tips, setups for a drip system to simulate rainfall? Do you think giving our fish the experience of rain would be worth the time and effort? So yes, and I have fiddled around with this idea a lot. Now, your biggest problem is going to be splashing, because that's coming from a higher point. As those drops hit, it's going to splash around. So that's the biggest thing you're going to have to take into factor. Like creating a simulated the product, like say the rain, the tray or whatever, where you want to drill holes through, or you can use a shower head, all kinds of different things you can use. Biggest thing is the splashes that it'll end up making. So you could either drop the water level for that, take that into account, or create backsplashes. Or if you have a fish room where it's just concrete and you got metal stands or something, you don't care, then do your thing. But yeah, I definitely have thought about doing the simulated rainfall and drip emitters too. Like if you wanted to do just like the little trickle here, little trickle there, instead of like the whole like full on rain. I'm sure there's ways that you could set up to where you get all the differences. It's just putting that together that takes the time. Huh, well, let me see that message. Sarah had to mute somebody. Whatever happened to Eric Bodrog? He's still doing his thing. I really need to contact them. He's still going around the clubs doing the thing. Absolutely love Eric and Regina. They're the best. You be at the carnival, yep. Scrolling. Man, how many questions? How do you test for pheromones? I have no idea, Kent. There's probably some agent out there that can test for it, but I'm not sure. Gomad says lift, arm, and sniff. It's one way to do it. Yeah, take your fish out and smell it. Give it a good smell. Old sniff test. Flaco's Garden says, I see you sell pairs of antlers and guppies. Any chance of getting a trio? Flaco's Garden. So you're the second person to ask me that. And a big reason why I don't usually sell trios is because I'm usually male heavy. I wish I could sell reverse trios. It'd be a lot easier for me. But if there is a antler or guppy pair, if I can do it, if I have enough females to do so, then you'd have to message Lady LRB at lrbaquatics.orders@gmail.com. Then we'd set it up, and then it would be half the price of the pair to add the female. Carla Mollenkamp says, how do I introduce Daphne that I would buy online into my tank to get a culture going on? So I actually quarantined mine. I gave it the whole bath thing where I talked about how you rinse it out with either aquarium water or a carbon blocked tap water. And then feed it spirulina. This is what I've been feeding mine, which I've got a huge Daphne tank going. This spirulina powder, Go Nutra, which I'll show you right now. Let me pick you guys up, because I kind of feel like sitting up too. I've been sitting around a lot. This tank's so green. That's mostly because bristlenose Placos, the waste from them. But here's the Daphne. I feed them that spirulina powder. So I quarantined them, and then I moved them off into this 40-gallon, and it doesn't take them long to actually get this going. And I did feed some of them to the fish already. It's pretty sweet. Do you think rainfall system would help zebra Placos breed, or suspect difficult to spawn fish or missing that aspect of natural life? I mean, well, that's completely where all of it's at. That's where everything is within your environment that you create for whatever fish, Daphne, worms, whatever, shrimp, whatever you create to them, more that you can simulate Mother Nature's essence and how she naturally keeps them in the wild without all the nasty stuff like the parasites and everything. Of course, you don't want to add those in there. But yeah, any kind of simulating you could do, it could always help with the spawning of of difficult to spawn fish. The thing, oh, excuse me, the thing with that is making it for like when the industry thinks about it, they think of it differently because they're wanting mass numbers. They want a mass way to do it. And to really do all that kind of specialized systems is usually not to their accord. So it's not as dressed as much within this hobby. But yeah, definitely. I don't think it would hurt. And that's why adding driftwood, dirt, just even some natural dirt for an aquarium can go a long way just because the minerals and everything else within it. Leaves, sticks, branches. When I kept keeping my ponds out back, that's what taught me more on going the whole Mother Nature approach, the real natural approach. I was literally just cutting branches off, shoving them in my ponds, just seeing what all would do, how the fish would do. They would love it. Like the more Mother Nature I threw in there, the more they loved it. Last video I watched of Eric Bodrock, he couldn't breed his zebra Placos. I was going to say he was probably sold zebra Placos all the same sex. Ooh. I don't know. I think he would know the difference, though, I would think. I don't know. Should I feed shrimp anything other than first bites? Mad Cat, is that a real question? You're messing with me, Mad Cat. I know better. I know better. You've been in here way too long. You know they're eating the tetratropical granules. Yeah, feed shrimp everything, for sure. Science Gal Fishing says, I have endler fry in a heavily planted tank, yet the adult endlers are still trying to eat them. Would it help if I fed the endlers 2 times a day, or will that just continue to want to eat their fry? Definitely 2 times a day will help. So more in the morning and more in the evening, just a little bit here and there. Don't feed the same amount as you would normally, but just make it enough to where they're getting their bellies full, not to the point where they overeat, because they can and will overeat. See, Flacco's garden. Oh, that's not a question. Oh, here in South Arizona, baking is good to get hotter. Yeah, you gotta be careful with that hot weather. If it's a dry heat with shipping plants, the way I ship them, it's kind of like shipping them in a little terrarium, so the heat doesn't really matter. But the way some and a lot of people ship plants, oh my god, especially if they're wrapping their plants with newspaper or something like that. If you get plants and there's no oxygen in that bag, run away. Run away. It grinds my gears how people really ship plants. It's crazy. I think they do that just to keep you coming, though. Paul C says, hi Lucas, how do you measure calcium in your water? So I use a TDS meter, and it's not the exact, I don't know if you're looking for exactly calcium or like the calcium bicarbonates and other stuff, but I use a TDS meter to check my hardness and really gauge whether I have soft or alkalitic water. And 200 is neutral. Anything above 200 is alkalinity. Anything under is acidic. And from there you can go, like if you can keep pretty much neutral water, you can pretty much keep anything. As long as you're in that range, it doesn't even matter. Most fish don't even care. A lot of fish really don't even care whether it's soft or acidic. Now maybe for breeding sometimes they may affect them some, But for the most part, a lot of fish don't care as long as they have a good immune system, good environment, and they're happy. If your fish aren't happy, I mean, it's hard for a fish to live. Mark says, which type of danios will do best for summer ponds? Really, any danios will do good for a summer pond. Pick your favorite. There's all kinds of really cool looking danios. The longfin zebras, leopards, platinum leopards. Michelle Kinsey, thank you so much for the $1.50 super chat. Really appreciate that, Michelle. And Ron Harriman, sorry to keep you waiting. Thank you so much for that. $5 super chat says, I used my 2 to 300 TDS tap water a long time in my gup shrimp tank. I recently got water softener and carbon filter installed. Can use that soft water. That water softener sometimes can be tricky, especially with the shrimp. So it depends on what you're putting in there. I've had many people back in the past have issues with their water softener. But then I've also had some that just, it's been phenomenal for them because they put a certain something in it. But I can't remember what exactly they put in it. Now the carbon filter is definitely good for you and your family and your fish because you're getting that chlorine, chloramine out of your water and your pipes. Oh my, is that true, Stephen? Oh. Oh no, you don't respond to that. It was to a certain person who ships their plants in newspaper. But yeah, as far as that soft water on, you'd have to remineralize it. To be honest, 200-300 TDS, I would keep trucking along with that. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. 200-300 is good for guppies and neocaridinias. Like you're sitting in a prime spot, so. The carbon filter is definitely great. The water softener, that'll be good for your showers. Link that up to your showers or something. But thank you so much for the support. Super appreciated. Considered thirst? That's so odd to say. Do you keep lids on all your aquariums? If so, do you get a lot of jumping out of the tank? So no, I don't hardly keep any lids besides on like this main rainbow tank and where I have my barbs. But yeah, if I don't think they'll jump, I don't keep a lid. And I keep an open air lid too, which is absolutely horrible for the humidity in this house and why I run ridiculous amount of dehumidifiers. But for me, since I have so many tanks, if I had lids, oh my god, that'd be problematic. If I had to lift a lid for every time I fed or ferted my tanks, like I would do nothing but that. Like I'd have to hire somebody to do that. And there is a way you could actually train fish to not jump out of your tank. I have taught fish not to jump out of tanks. So I do have some fish that you would think that would jump out of a tank that won't jump out of a tank. And that's usually due from when I transfer them, I will just kind of, I won't be real fast about it. I'll give them some time to realize that it's not that great to be out of the water. They'll know that. Fish are a lot smarter than we think. Now, I don't do it to a point where I'm being cruel to them, but you'd be surprised how smart fish and shrimp can really be. Scroll. Trying to watch both Brett's and Chevy Chase on Carson at the same time. I can imagine what your eyes look like right now. Just whoop. Ron Harriman, I need to tap into the filtered before the softener. I would for the aquarium water. Maybe add a little spigot that you can attach to. I don't know how you're going to run your system, but it's a good thing with plumbing. As long as you're not scared about laying some pipe, it's amazing what you could really do with the flow of water. Now, you do got to think about how water works and stuff, but Usually gravity shouldn't be your issue. It's just a tap between the carbon filter and the softener. Oh, I'm at the bottom. I made it. Hooray. So if you do got a question and I missed your question, I am at the bottom here. And we've got about 10 minutes left. And Lucas gets a timeout. That sounds good. I could use a timeout. I really could use a timeout. Give me all the timeouts. Bruce D says, hey Lucas, great success breeding your fire red shrimp, but having a hard time getting your yellow shrimp to breed. Whoop. Thing with those yellows, Bruce D, a little trick might help you is they are vivacious eaters. They do eat a little more than like the red neocardinas do. So maybe feed them a little more, see if that helps. And then also the environment, rock piles, if there's anything natural for them to eat. And especially since they are really hungry shrimp, that line is like specifically hungry. A piece of driftwood probably not be a bad idea, or maybe some leaf litter. Yeah. I got mad. Terry Tropical Fish says, are you going to South Bend auction on the 22nd? So yes, I will be there. What are the best breeders you have? Oh, I don't know. That's a lot of them. I got many fish that just love to breed here. Too many fish that love to breed that I don't have enough tanks to do it properly, and it really grinds my gears, and I'm working on it. I am working on it, especially since I don't have the Dragon 3000 water change system anymore. Do you watch Mark's Shrimp Tanks? I did a long time ago. I haven't really much recently. But I like Mark. Mark's awesome. Mark's a great guy. Oh, there's a Dragon Water Change System 3000 in the chat. Oddball Aquatics says, oh. And once again at the bottom, so if you got that question. Oh, here, I missed one. Shane Mook says, any tips on managing duckweed? I've gone the manual removal route only to have it come back. I hear mystery snails will eat it. No, you just got to be real meticulous. So when you do... Okay, so let's go through a scenario here. And I've had to constantly like clean tanks out of whether it be Reishi. Reishi can sometimes be a real pain to get out. But let's say, let's move this over. Let's say you got a ton of duckweed. You've removed what you can off the surface. And what I would do is I'd blow like that over into the corner. Then you can blow it all over into one space. You can easily get it out that way. But be careful dunking it, because sometimes it can get dunked and caught underneath plants, and then that's what will come back and bite you in the butt later on. But sit there, remove what you can, and just be meticulous about what you remove. If you got to get a paper towel, wipe that off, do it. Or you can do what Gone Mad says and use a flamethrower. But yeah, paper towels work a lot. Just manual removal is about the best way to do it. You can dunk it. It hates hard water if you dunk it. So maybe if you put a hang on the back filter, but then you have to get a hang on the back filter. You don't want to do that. That's going to cost you money. So manual removal is the best way I can tell you. You just got to look in your tank, make sure that there's none left. And as soon as you see something, you got to pick it out. But I won't keep duckweed. No way, Jose. Look at that little baby half-beak. Oh, where'd he go? He's quick. Oh, there he is. Wink. I had to put guppies in here with my half-beaks. That way they don't eat their babies. Oh, there's a couple babies over there. Ooh, there goes a bigger one. There's another bigger one. I need to sell this thread, needle thread Java fern. That stuff's actually really rare too. Because most people don't know it. Absolutely beautiful plant, but I want to redo this tank. I used to do, I've done so many tanks in more of a design factor. I've got to start thinking more in functionability anymore. Look at this bush, immersed. That's actually a flamingo crib, grown with hardly any light. That's supposed to be a one of those Snow White Anubias, but it doesn't look very Snow White. It was when I first got it. You just got to give it a ton of CO2, ton of light. Okay, Sharkay says, hey Lucas, I got a pair of your guppies. Within 2 weeks they started making babies. I mean lots of babies. Help! Is there any way to slow them down? LOL. They do get a bit crazy. Maybe hit up your local fish store, see if they need any guppies, or a local club, even better. As far as getting them to slow down, it's kind of tricky. I don't know if there is any guppy inhibitor as far as breeding. Oh no, I don't know. If anybody knows though, I would love to hear that too in the chat, because I myself am being overrun by guppies. And it's part of the reason why I don't have enough tanks. But at the same time, I've got all these endlers and strains of these like guppies that I want to breed because they are some crazy. Let me see if I can get some showing here that I need to just specifically start breeding out. Like these guys are cool, but I can't get the light on them right. And they don't ever sit still. Hi Lucas, any tips on raising stir-by Cory fry? What foods do you recommend? For the little stir-by Corys, you want something that's gonna sink at the bottom. Look at that guy. That guy's crazy with that long fin. Live just is terrible with the camera. Sorry guys. That's why I don't do as many lives anymore. Stir-by baby food. I don't know. Anybody have any recommendations? I mean, I just use the crushed up tetratropical granules and then all the microorganisms. What I would do personally, if I would want to have success with any baby Corydoras, is I'd have a shallow tank with sand that's super mature, mulmed up, super dirty, leaf litter. That way there's all the little microorganisms that are naturally in water, and algae and biofilms and stuff that they can naturally graze on at their own accord. That would be the best way to truly really do it. But yeah, you can use like first bites or little things that break down. Just try not to put too much food in there, because the little microorganisms can eat off that food that the babies don't eat. So technically, if the little food doesn't always just feed the fish, but it'll feed the microorganisms of the fish as well. Thanks, Science Scale Fishing. Yeah, shrimp like to climb, for sure. Don't have any for sale? What? My Endler inhibitor is my giant female betta. Yeah, I mean, I guess that is one way you can do it too, is you can put in a bigger fish in there that would eat the fry. So you can do like a gourami, a betta, or killifish, or maybe rainbow fish. Half beaks. That's what I was using those half beaks for. What about if you have problems with ducks in your tank? Oh my gosh. I mean, I'd probably befriend the duck, actually, just knowing myself. I'd be like, oh cool, there's a duck. We got a pair of ducks that come over to our pond. And they've always come to our house, like even before we had the pond. Just because there was just a little bit of water out back there. Now they're living the lap of luxury right now. But yeah, I'd probably definitely befriend the duck. Carolyn MC, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Great to see you in here, Carolyn. Says, thank you for all your help. Enjoy the weekend. You too. Thank you. Oh man, I'm ready for the weekend. It's gonna be weird. I haven't like really been away for a minute. And I'm kind of excited too. I'm ready to buy some killies, see some killies. Get rid of some plants. Get rid of a lot of plants. Because this fish room has just turned into a jungle. Scrolling. Do ducks eat duckweed? I don't know. That's a good question. I think they may. Oh, excuse me. Do you know anything about Pistogramma caulopensis? No, I do not. I'm guessing it's probably similar to most of Pistogrammas. Alright. So, I'm going to hop off here. We are over the hour mark. You know what? I might as well give these fish behind me some food before I do, because that's always fun. And I know they're super hungry, so they should be super splashy for you guys, which makes it even better. I'll flip you guys around. Boop, 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 ba-doop. All right, you guys hungry? See, they already know. They see the container. I mean, they're smart. They're like little puppy dogs. Like, here. Look. Tetra granules. They already know. They know what's up. But if you want to really get this show, you got to dribble it in. Just a little dash. Oh, hello. Oh, no wonder the lighting was weird. I don't think I had all my lights on. Maybe I did at the beginning. Yum. But yeah, you guys have been absolutely awesome. Appreciate all you guys' support. Watching, sharing, liking, subscribing, super chatting, membering. Just being part of the Hoarder Squad. It's awesome. I appreciate you guys, seriously. And always follow your dreams, because you never know. You may one day have a house full of fish as well. Granted, be careful, because you might work yourself into a corner, but heck, I wouldn't change it for the world. Yum. Well, maybe I would, actually. I'd probably have more tanks. So, that's not true. Always change it. What am I saying? Ha. Anyways, thank God it's the weekend. I gotta feed the rest of these fish. Once again, I appreciate y'all. Yum. I could feed these guys forever, too. They do not stop eating. Like, look, the poor Cory cats aren't even getting any food. It's like, what's up, Dad? All right, till next time, everybody. Peace. Have a great one.